Orgasm basically accidentally saved my life.
I found a study that 20% of people report meeting God during orgasm at least once in their life.
So I grew up in a household not unlike millions and millions and millions of women where there was abuse from the time I was an infant until I was 16. And right around that time, the goddess came to me and I thought, holy shit, motherfucker, I have to tell every woman that there's a goddess that lives inside of her, because in a patriarchy, we don't get told that. Orgasm is the God chemical. That's when you feel the holy. That's when you feel the sacred. And so the question becomes like, how do you own this part? How do you connect this part? Because you can't do it with your head.
You're listening to The Human Upgrade with Dave Asprey.
Before you start, I just want to make a blessing. Mother, Father, God, Goddess, powers of the four directions. Oh, thank you so much for the privilege of us all being together and creating this podcast. May it land in the hearts, bodies, minds, souls, and sex of everybody who requires it, needs it, could be elevated and transformed by the medicine of this co-creation that we're going to unfold in this next hour together. And may we be in service to you as we open all of these doors for all the people that this will hit at the perfect time. Amen. Wow. Or something even better and wetter.
That's a heck of a way to open a show.
Why the fuck not?
The only other friend who does that is, I think, Emily Fletcher, and maybe Kasha Urbanek did it as well when she was on.
That's because they're both students of mine.
Are they? No kidding. Kasha's a very dear friend, and actually I've known Emily for many years. She's also a dear friend, and so I'm just like, wow. So these are both your students. Of course they are.
Yeah.
It only would make sense. Now, it's hard to describe you, Regena, Mama Gena, as you're better known, I would say.
Yeah.
Certainly, some people would say you're a feminist, but that can have so many different meanings, right? Are you a feminist?
I would say that I'm a feminist in the sense that I love women and men passionately and would serve their desires of women with my dying breath. Like, I want a world where women are fully and completely expressed, every drop celebrated, every aspect of women, of a woman feeling righteous and right inside her skin on this planet. And if that makes me a feminist, what the fuck, I'm down.
I would argue that just makes you right-headed, because who doesn't want that?
There's people that don't want that, boo.
Is it because they were dropped on their heads, or what's the deal?
Well, I mean, if you look at our prevailing, the winds in our country now, and it's not the simplest time to be a woman. We still live in a world where there's like something like 280 million women that have had female genital mutilation. Like, that is happening even now while we're sitting here in Texas.
They do it to men too.
No, I know. It's so shocking and horrifying.
Yeah.
And we need to stop this between the two of us. We need to.
I'm just all about like not doing genital mutilation unless you're over 18 and into it, in which case you do you. Like, I'm not kink shaming here, but you know.
Yeah.
I think that's weird, but most of the world does that to one or both of the sexes, and you.
I think like what I do more than identify as a feminist is just an advocate on behalf of women connecting to their erotic life force and their erotic aliveness, because it is the through line to their creativity and their expression and their passion and their power. So
that is a little beyond what you learn in a feminist class. And when I look at you, and we know each other from some social events, Burning Man kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And many of my friends are either your friends or in your students, it turns out. So like, I'm familiar with some of the stuff that you do, and you teach what I would call an embodiment.
Yeah.
And so many people are not in their bodies. And because we're here on site at 40 years of Zen. So I have electrodes glued to people. I could tell you when they're in their head or in their body because there's a neurological signature, right? But when women and men get disembodied, it's usually, but not always, for different reasons and in different ways, right? And when we become fully embodied, we turn on what's there. And what women have that men don't have is a huge amount of reserve for intuition. And there's a biological reason for it.
Yeah.
And it's because...
It's called the clitoris. And there's 10,000 nerve endings dedicated to pleasure. And there's no other function except pleasure. Whereas you guys have a multi-tool. I mean, your cock pees, it ejaculates, it's hard, you know, it does things.
I can drive with mine.
Yeah. The clitoris is all the sole purpose is pleasure.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy if you think about it. Like, why did the great pussy in the sky or the great cock in the sky design a body with an organ that had no function except pleasure?
I think it has more functions than pleasure.
Tell me more.
Well, it's also a little bit of a truth detector.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It is not just a truth detector, but it's almost like a your deepest intuition. Like literally, if I want to decide, I live in New York City, so I'm like, am I going to take a cab? And then I'll check in with my pussy and she'll be like, sorry, bitch, you're going on the subway. And I'll be like, no, I need that taxi. And she'll be like, you know, just because it's almost like pussies can read the future. They can determine things. And it's so key and so important for a woman to be clean and clear in that relationship.
Thank you for saying these things. That this is absolutely 100% the truth. And people are saying, Dave, you don't have a pussy. How do you know this?
Yeah, but you have a masculine and feminine side. Yeah. I have an energetic cock.
Oh yeah.
So I get your energetic pussy and I love it and I appreciate
you're the full polarity. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know, we each have all things. And my work really started, Orgasm basically accidentally saved my life.
Oh, do tell.
The story of my accidental life saver from orgasm. Okay.
Anything with orgasm I'm into, so yeah.
So I grew up in a household not unlike, you know, millions and millions and millions of women where there was abuse from the time I was an infant until I was 16. Now, for me, it was just home.
Yeah, you don't know.
I had no idea.
Right.
It was whatever. But when I was about 5 years old, I was a very enthusiastic kid. And when I was about 5, I stopped looking forward to the day. And I was like, why would a child stop looking forward to the day? Something must be wrong. And I thought, there must be something wrong in the world that I would feel that way. And right around that time, the goddess came to me.
Which one?
I think it was probably Aphrodite because she would sit on my pillow and she would just radiate beauty.
Oh, yeah.
And and this was the cool part, I could feel her. Like I could feel this energetic of, you know, pleasure running through my body that I knew had something to do with her. But when I would turn to look for her, because I thought she was like prettier than a Barbie probably, she would vanish. And it taught me something. It was like, okay, there are goddesses, but they live in the periphery. And I started to look for these goddesses. And I went to my friends' churches and temples because I thought maybe I'm Jewish and we didn't have them. And I could never find them. And so I stopped looking. And then when I went to Mount Holyoke College. I moved to New York City to become an actress. And I stopped dead in my tracks because I had no confidence. Because I was so filled with so much self-doubt, self-hatred, and all the stuff that had been broken inside of me from my family of origin. I couldn't even audition, but I dragged myself to a class, and I auditioned to join a class, and the teacher said to me, "You're a great actress, but you have no sensuality in your body." Oh. And I was like, "What?" And he said, "It's no problem if you don't mind being cast in roles that are 20 or 30 years older than you." And I was like, oh no, I mind that a lot. So I thought I will take a class in it because I was repressed, shy, hermit, basically, like a total goofball. Like all I did was sit in my apartment after working in my restaurant studying ancient goddess culture.
And you were how old?
I'm in my 20s. Like,
You're so weird.
I'm one of the weirdest you will ever
I like that. It's a compliment, by the way.
I feel that way. So I go and I take a class, and in this class, I have an experience that changed my life, because the homework, you have to do something to pleasure yourself. I'd never in my life done anything to pleasure myself. Ever. No, it's like taking care of my family, taking care of, going to school,
you
studying.
You were repressed.
No, repressed AF.
Oh.
Like nothing like this.
Wow.
Like the literally invisible creature.
You are so unrepressed now. Good work. I mean,
Thank you, babe.
I just watched you have like 10 orgasms on my PEMF chair right before this.
I did that.
She's good at orgasms. She was fully dressed. It was just biohacking, but you own that pleasure.
Wild. Oh my God. So there I am this little repressed being, and I end up taking this class and they give you this thing, you have to do all this pleasure.
Wow.
And I'm like touching myself, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and when I see my own eyes in the mirror, I see the goddess.
Yeah, you saw the goddess within.
The thing that I've been looking forward my entire life. And I thought, holy shit, motherfucker. I have to tell every woman that there's a goddess that lives inside of her, because in a patriarchy, we don't get told that. Whether you believe in Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, it's all dudes. It's like the religion of dudes.
Wait a minute. There's like the Buddha's Tara and all that. I work a lot with green Tara. Let's not put green Tara down. She's not going to like that. And black Tara.
Excuse me. Buddha had to leave his wife and child to get enlightenment. Women find enlightenment with their husbands and their kids. In the mundane, in the kitchen, they find the holy.
And the bedroom a little bit?
And the bedroom a lot. Okay. Okay. But yeah, let's just put that on the checklist of what we have to talk about later. Okay, because there's so many things.
Keep going. Yeah.
All right. So I find the goddess, and I'm host. I have this big mission. I don't know what to do. So I decide the people that ran the course, they run a sex commune called Lafayette Morehouse. And I'm joining that commune. So I went from a hermit into a sex commune, boom. And I lived there for 5 years. Oh. And the only thing they teach is female orgasm. Okay.
Can I join?
Yeah. No, you would love this place.
Totally kidding. I would love it though.
You would love it. So I go there, and I am so shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly they do these practices where you run a guy will stroke you.
Is like one taste related? Yeah.
That is one of the the lineages that came from that.
Yeah.
So they give you orgasms however many times a day you wish.
Mm-hmm.
And
without any sexual stuff for the guy.
Sex.
It's literally just the person being of service. Yeah.
It's person being of service.
Mm-hmm.
I never had this before.
That's really special.
And you know this,
mm-hmm.
Literally I don't think we've ever had a time of greater stress, greater people being stressed about finances, about the climate, about the economy, overworking, ill parents, caretaking, God, the load that people, social media, the load, AI, the load that we're carrying right now, we are stressed AF. And that was my body. And so I walk into this world, and suddenly this completely shut down body is getting filled with oxytocin,
mm-hmm.
prolactin, endorphins, and this body is shifting because each of us has this almost like I would call it like a medicine cabinet that
mm-hmm.
the pharmaceutical industry has been trying to replicate for decades with things like SSRIs. But we have, if you turn on that oxytocin, which is the same hormone that gets released when a woman has a baby, so that hormone of bonding, and it lowers her cortisol. Mm-hmm. It shifts her from her sympathetic nervous system into her parasympathetic nervous system. So she's going from fight or flight into rest and repair. And so my body is getting all these endorphins, these natural opioids are flooding into me, the prolactin, which helps with sleep. So suddenly, mm-hmm. and sleep is where trauma processes.
Mm-hmm.
So the amygdala quiets with all of these hormones. And so suddenly without a single day of therapy, I am like, oh yes, I am myself. Like, I am free. I am alive. I am embodied.
Yeah.
What can I do? Like, I am ready to take on the world.
You dropped out of your head and maybe a little bit of your victimhood and into your body, right?
It's so brilliant that you say that, because that is exactly where 90% of the world lives, in my opinion, in a state of victimhood, because we don't access this medicine cabinet. We don't even know that we have the ability to create pleasure with like one single stroke anywhere. And so I leave the sex commune motivated, so motivated. And I'm like, I need to, and then I have my daughter. So I have Maggie, and I'm like looking at this baby, and I'm like, shit.
That'll ruin your sex life for 20 years.
I feel like I need to do something to make the world able to handle who and what a woman is. I got to start a school where I teach women about pleasure. And so I like, okay, I'll start the School of Women in the Arts in my living room. Now, that little repressed hermit could never have done that. But that repressed hermit filled with orgasm was an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
And this is huge because it's not just women that have this medicine cabinet inside. It's men.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same for both of us, but we don't access it.
It's where life force energy comes from.
Oh, my God.
We call it chi also. Yeah, you want to live a very long time, you're going to have to pay attention to sexual energetics, or you won't live a long time.
Yeah.
You talk to a happy 80 or 90-year-old who's going to live a long time, they still have a love life.
Yeah. That's a very true point. I think that's like the next level of somebody's got to take on what's going on for older people with opening their sensuality and sexuality, because like nursing homes could be a lot more fun.
I think they're having a outbreak of STIs these days because people are having more fun than ever.
Good.
Yeah, so it's happening.
That's good.
But it should be even more fun.
The thing that I learned, though, as I started to teach women, was as soon as you connect a woman to her pussy and to her pleasure, and you know this because we already talked about it, all of the darkness, the place where she was hurt, damaged, injured, raped, overlooked, disconnected sexually, all of that injury erupts wildly. And it requires even more practices than, let's say, a self-pleasure practice or a sensual practice. It requires an embodiment practice so that she can find her way home as she expands. And what guided me around all of this was, remember, the little hermit was studying ancient goddess religion.
There's kind of a lot of knowledge in the ancient practices, isn't there?
So much so. Have you gotten into like studying those things yourself?
I was one class away from a minor in religious studies, and I've studied lots of the ancient goddess stuff. I'd say mostly the Isis stuff is where I'm most connected.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The element that my takeaway, and you probably got this one too, is that within the lens of the divine feminine, as opposed to masculine, the divine feminine says there's holy in everything.
Yeah, the left-handed tantra stuff is the accurate way.
Yeah. That there's the energy of these seats are changed for this conversation.
You can make anything sacred with enough energy, right?
Exactly. And so extrapolating that and learning like, oh, it's not just when I'm happy that I'm holy, or it's not just when things are going well that I'm in a flow state. It's actually when I fall to my knees, when I break, when I lose everything, when the darkness is insurmountable, when I can't set one foot in front of the other, that there is access, not just access, but almost the most sacred time of being a human. And we don't get training around that. We think that if we lose our job or if a beloved dies, that we can't go on, that our life will never be valuable again. And what I began to learn and what my new book is about is that it's a practice of learning how to hit your knees, to kneel before whatever is happening with reverence and gratitude and erotic aliveness.
So that last part threw people for a loop, I think there. You're talking about surrender, but your first major New York Times bestseller was called Pussy, a Reclamation. Your new one is On Our Knees. So are we on our knees in surrender, or are we on our knees in BJ's? Like, what's going on?
Okay. This is why I always like for there to be a little bit of a clusterfuck in the title.
I appreciate that.
But, there are times in all of our lives when we are brought to our knees, whether it's a marriage that comes unfurled that we believed we would spend our lives in. I know you got thrown out of a business that you created.
$100 million lesson and conscious uncoupling at the same time. Yeah, that was.
Oh my God,
that was quite the surrender. We'll put it that way.
And we all have passages like that, and where we think that, oh God, I'm broken, or I fucked up, or I need therapy, or I was wrong, or I was bad, when it's actually the goddess, the great pussy in the sky, opening us to what's next in a way that we couldn't have asked for, but we require. And so the question becomes like, how do you own this part? How do you connect this part? Because you can't do it with your head. Like in my head, if, I was standing backstage at an event that I was delivering to thousands of women, and it was going to be my last time on stage because I knew I could not go on again, but I didn't know how to live my life without that performer or that thought leader. But I knew that it was time to stop. My daughter had an eating disorder. She required my attention. And so I had to hit my knees in a way that I had not hit before, but not as a victim.
So when you hit your knees, are you talking about get down and pray? Are you talking about just surrender to an eating disorder in your daughter? Like, what does hitting your knees mean here?
For me, I'm all about practices.
Okay.
I the way I teach it's not a head game, because living as a woman isn't a head game. It's a total body game and body experience. And so, for example, when I was developing my work to the point where how a human being embodies their darkness, meaning owning it in real time, not trying to say how are you, Dave? You just got thrown out of your company. How are you? And what the culture teaches us is fine. I'm fine. And we're never fine. We are always something. So
yeah, people didn't like really hearing what I had to say. Because I was just like, I really hope it goes the right way so there isn't blood in the headlines.
Wow.
I was a little angry.
Wow.
I'm actually kind of glad it did go the right way, because there would have been blood in the headlines. I'm not saying whose or how, because that would be wrong.
That would be wrong. Okay. But can you feel, like I can feel in that communication with you, like there is still some rage in there?
I've done a lot of forgiveness work. I'm actually grateful for the lesson, but I channeled that for you from the way I was feeling at the time.
Oh, good. It hit.
I put it in there. And also I know that the people who perpetrated the crime, also that landed for them. And anyone else who's thinking about it, it probably ought to landed for you too.
Ooh,
and I don't have a problem with that.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la. I love seeing this side of you.
I'm actually really peaceful and really kind, but the whole thing about being a warrior in a garden versus a gardener in a war, sometimes you have to tap into that, but I don't live in that state. But, I had PTSD from being born. I was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck. You come into the world thinking someone's trying to kill you. You'd be a little angry. until you do the work. But it's not that, I can't tap into that stuff. It's just unnecessary to get things done that I'm working on.
Yeah. Well, there's, times where you want to channel that, those facets of your humanity.
Yeah, you still can. Yeah.
I mean, I could never have, like, after I got my divorce, without Freya, the warrior goddess at my back.
Freya's cool.
There's no way I could have taken care of my kid and scaled my company. So, but let's talk, are there any moments right now in your life that are bringing you to your knees? Are you in like a cheerful, happy time? Or are you in a challenge?
I'm in a really good chapter of life. My 19-year-old daughter just left this morning after working for me for 6 months, and she's had so much learning and expansion here because she's watching like leaders in the world go through personal development and just drinking it up. Like, oh, that's how it works. Like, oh, so I'm not crazy. Like people twice my age are going through stuff. So I feel like she got a PhD in growing up, which was just beautiful. My son just set a record for academics without any pressure from me at all.
Wow.
Wow,
that is so great.
And I'm technically single, but I have, dear friends who love me and are happy to spend intimate time with me.
How nice is that?
Without any stickiness. And I don't know, I'm in a pretty good place.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I'm serving my mission, and, sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, but generally I'm in a pretty good place. I get to do the things I love.
All right. Gorgeous. I find that, like, inside of my life, on my knees moments, they're pretty constant. I'm dealing with an aging mom right now. Like, that can bring me down. There's a lot of grief there. I can hit my knees with challenges in my company that I always take so personally somehow.
Aren't you like experienced enough to stop doing that?
There's sometimes people break your heart, don't you find?
Where I am now, like I've dealt with the most profound betrayal, and then done the forgiveness work on it, and just realizing that it was my own expectations of others that were the problem. And the most profound injustice, I had a family member try to steal one of my companies in premeditated white collar crime, separate from the whole bulletproof thing at the same time. And I'm like, oh, that's betrayal. Okay. Why am I responding this way? Because I had made the fundamental mistake of saying, oh, just because I'm related to someone means that they won't betray me. So I just had a childlike trust model, and I evolved it to a more functional one that's actually healthier and creates more peace.
Okay.
So all of these are lessons that are, you get to suffer until you get the lesson. So I just got a lot of lessons all at once. There are threats to the company. You're not going to die if your company does. If you feel like you're going to die when your company is threatened, then there's forgiveness work to be done in there.
Okay. And do you want to try a little on your knees experiment?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Teach me something.
It's more like I'm giving you options and you'll see if you like them or not.
All right.
So what I like to do is, let's say when I feel, because I am a highly emotional creature and I love running strong emotions through my body. And it's just so pleasurable.
Totally.
So like I personally got so struck, because I wanted to research you a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I got so outraged when I read about how you were taken out of your own company.
Oh, that was kind of a big one. Yeah.
Okay. And the reason that I did is because I think that founders are always kind of wacky geniuses. And sometimes, and it happens to me with my company, where I will make a suggestion, like I'm teaching a course right now called The Orgasmic Edge.
I love it.
That's so much fun.
Is it like an edging class or what?
It is a course in teaching women how to extend and expand their orgasmic experience.
Lovely.
And teaching their partners how to stroke and their
yes, what a great class.
To expand that orgasmic experience for both of them. And I'm having the most outrageous results. But when I brought this forward for my company, they were like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Like, you can't teach a small intensive. No, we have to do an online program. So I related to your storyline. I was like, the level of frustration when you have a vision and you are not met, or you are met by adversity, by people who cannot comprehend the purity of your download that came, from something greater than you. All right. So I personally would love to go for like a little, how I work it is if I start getting ignited by rage, I like to move it from my head into my body. So what I would do is I call it the on our knees move.
Okay.
And the first part of it is the truth tantrum, which is you just let that ragey emotion run through your body really hard.
Okay. From
your knees, because it takes you out of your head instantly. And just maybe 30 seconds of that. And just let it move, pound, and then we move to the tender tantrum, when you begin to shift to like a self-touch practice with tenderness, because from tenderness grows the erotic. And that's the point, is to go from rage right into the erotic.
Your longevity stack is probably missing something important, something that addresses aging where it matters most, right in your mitochondria. They're the engines of your cells, and they do some other stuff too. They make the energy for your brain, your muscles, your metabolism, and as you age, your mitochondria slows down, so you slow down. And then that's when your strength drops, your recovery takes longer, and you start losing your edge. And that's when aging really hits you. So if you're looking for what to do, listen up. Timeline, powered by MitoPure, contains urolithin A, which is a compound that supports your mitochondria like nothing else. Think of those mitochondria like engines or even batteries. And when the battery drains, they stop working. MitoPure is a full recharge for the battery that powers you. Timeline spent over 15 years and more than $50 million to crack the code and unlock this longevity pathway. And MitoPure delivers the exact dose that scientists use in clinical trials. I've used MitoPure since it came out, that means for years, because I want to live a long time and I want to feel good while I do it. MitoPure comes in a delicious sugar-free gummy that's NSF certified and clean label project verified. So you end up living longer by enjoying delicious gummies, and there are no excuses now. So if you're serious about improving your longevity stack, go to timeline.com/Dave, get 20% off your MitoPure gummies. They are so good.
Your gut decides how much you get from everything else you do. You can eat the best food, you can take the best supplements. I sure do. You can train every day. That's probably not a good idea, but you could do it anyway. But if your gut isn't working well, your body isn't going to get the full benefit. And that's why I've used Just Thrive probiotics literally for years. Almost every probiotic dies in your stomach before it reaches your gut. Just Thrive has 4 different spore-based strains that get into your body 100% alive. And one of those strains you probably haven't heard of is called Bacillus indicus HU36. Say that 3 times fast. It turns your gut into an antioxidant-producing factory. So when your gut works better, you can absorb more nutrients. Then your digestion improves. You don't get bloated as much, and your immune system gets stronger. And then all the other supplements that you invest in start working better. So right now, you can start a 90-day Just Thrive probiotic subscription, and they'll send you a free 90-day supply of digestive bitters. You take these before meals to help your body make more stomach acid, bile, and natural enzymes. And they also support your body's natural GLP-1 production, which is a lot cheaper than injecting them, right? Go to justthrivehealth.com/Asprey. And if you don't love the results, they'll refund your money even if your bottle is empty.
So you talked about was it righteous anger? Was it? Or
probably.
Okay. Explain the difference between righteous anger and stridence, like being strident, because there's a very big spiritual difference between those.
Well, let's say from just how my body responds to that. Like, there was a time when my daughter I was trying to get her into a school for special ed. And I knew, she had dyslexia. So she needed some support. And so I had to fight with the Board of Ed, and then I had to go sit down with the people who ran the school and plead my case for her to be accepted. I was like a she-wolf in Manolos. Not aggressive. I was strategic. I was determined. I was not going to leave that room until I was able to have everyone share my perspective about why it was so essential for my daughter to have one of those precious seats in that school so that she could have the advantages of what their program offered. I would not have won the game if I was strident.
Right.
If I was saying, you have to put her in, or if I was
So
critical,
how dare you energy.
Yeah. Or critical of them, or feeling better than them, or wanting to punish them. I just simply sat in the deep truth of my conviction and the patience to gently not move until I had found a way to have us all on the same page. So I think it's...
That's powerful feminine versus stridence.
Yeah.
Stridence is complaining and victimhood.
Exactly.
And expectations on others.
Yeah.
And the power that you were sitting in was, this is how it is. But it's not an angry thing.
Yeah,
It's just
because I'm going to say a weird thing. It's because I own my pussy.
High five. I don't know any other woman who's willing to put it so plainly, but that's exactly why. Women who fully own this.
Yeah.
It's
a woman
important.
who owns her pussy owns her life, and that's how it cuts. If you don't own your pussy, you do not own your life. You can be manipulated. You can be taken advantage of. You will make decisions that aren't your deepest truth or your deepest intuition. It is one of the most important journeys that a woman can take, is to own every facet of her erotic aliveness.
Well, something I didn't think I'd probably talk about on the air, but over the years of Daoist practiced and just all the neurofeedback and all the other things, with consent, without touching someone, I can feel the different parts of the female reproductive system, and I can tell when they're awake or asleep or what's happened to them, right? With startling accuracy. I don't understand quite where all this comes from, but at a triple board certified OBGYN, which is like, oh, you do that on me? I'm like, okay. So, clothes on, appropriate stuff in place. And I'm like, oh, you tore. And she's like, how did you know? And why are you numb right here? And there's a spot on the left. And when your ovaries is asleep, right? And you can wake them up. Right. But I very, very rarely meet someone who doesn't have an advanced either Daoist or tantric or the kind of practices you teach, who doesn't have major energy meridians turned off in her, I don't want to call it reproductive because that's not what it's for, but just like in the base of the whole energy channel in the whole body. Why is it so turned off? Why is it numb? Why is it disconnected?
Well, think about it. Like, when your kids were little, you have a daughter.
Yeah, and a son, yeah.
What did her bits and pieces get called while she was growing up in your house?
Usually a vagina.
Okay. Most of the, let's say my educated students, because I've had tens of thousands, would say vagina. And it's actually anatomically incorrect. It would be like teaching your little boy that he has a scrotum instead of a penis.
Like vulva.
Vulva is the word. And
we did anatomy too, though.
But what I'll always ask, like my first day of class, if I hundreds or thousands or whatever, I'll say, what did your bits get called? And half the women say nothing. The other half say names like Coochie and Chi-Chi and Little Miss Kitty.
We wouldn't do that, yeah.
Which is beautiful. But this is the world that we inhabit that performs a clitoral, well, it's almost like a linguistic clitoridectomy.
Oh my God, that's terrible, but it's what it is, yeah.
Because we take the language away.
It cannot be spoken of, that loses its power. Yeah.
We wouldn't call this the floppy thing with dangly things. We call it a hand. But when we take away the name of vulva, for female genitalia, what happens is the girl starts to experience shame because she thinks there's something wrong with her because it can't have a name, or hers is a front bottom and her friend next door has a kitty. And she's like, something must be wrong that this can't be named. So from the time she's a little tiny child, she has shame, and the shame spreads to her body. It's to her appearance. It spreads everywhere. And then she goes to church, and it's all masculine figures and teachers. There's no feminine goddess. She is, when she's told that she's dirty when she menstruates, she's told that she's a whore if she's sexually alive. So our culture does a lot of damage to our little girls. By the time, literally,
You make a lot of sense.
we learn to compromise before we learn to come.
Wow.
So it's which is why I started my school, because I thought if I can get to women, well, first of all, women bring up men and women. And if a mom feels great about her pussy and great about her sexual energy and great about her power, she will raise girls and boys that feel great about theirs.
So what I'm hearing is that if I could go back in time, instead of telling my daughter that she had a pussy, I should have said, you have a dragon and everyone else has a kitty. Would that be good?
She would have been so confused.
I'm totally kidding. But
you did pretty good, because vagina is at least in the vicinity, but it's actually the translation is sheath. It's the thing the sword goes into.
Yeah.
And vulva contains the exterior genitalia, which are the outer lips and the inner lips. And the great clitoris, our queen of the day. So
I have to. The queen is the clitoris.
I think so.
What about cervical orgasms? Because those are my favorite ones. But they just have to, it takes a while to get those.
Even a cervical orgasm is clitorally centered, because remember, your clit is kind of like this, but then there's the legs of the clitoris that go around like this.
Got it.
And the vestibular bulbs, and it kind of wraps around the whole vaginal area. So even when you're stimulating, it's the clitoris is always involved.
That's a good point. It's not the primary focus, but
maybe it's not the head of the clitoris you're connecting with.
Fair point, but it is involved in the orgasm. I totally believe that.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I see the most like numbness when I'm just looking at things energetically. It's like, wow, like so many, and when they awaken, it's pretty earth shattering. I
am so passionately inspired by your deep love of women, of sensuality, of all things feminine. Like, this is a whole side of you that I think it's incredible.
We can't make the future we're supposed to have if we don't have fully embodied women. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You have to have both polarities.
It is so true. Wow. I'm looking forward to unpacking this side of you in even more detail, because it's, because let's say in this world, as I was coming up, I didn't have a lot of male allies. It was actually, I didn't have a lot of female allies, because women were as scared of pussies as our culture was. So just to kind of meet you now, it's like, yes.
And a lot of guys, especially when we're young, it's too much lust, right? So like, oh, it's pussy. I know I'm going to do it. And it's not, it doesn't feel great for women if that's the main focus. But I published probably about 10 years ago about semen retention and the effects on biology and on daily happiness in men. And there's actually an old Daoist equation for how often guys should ejaculate. And what I found in a year of data was that the less I ejaculated, the more often I had sex, and the better it was for the relationship.
Yeah.
Right? So you have sex and then you don't ejaculate. And when I would teach this to people, guys would come up afterwards, at another seminar and say, I tried it and I got a $30,000 raise. I started 2 companies because all this energy that we're wasting. So what are you going to do? Okay. You're not going to ejaculate. So you have like the most interesting thing on the planet, which is a pussy, and you get to play with it. You might as well learn how to play with it well. It just seems kind of obvious. And the benefits to both people in a relationship like that are beautiful and powerful and actually sacred is a good way to put it. I found a study that 20% of people report meeting God during orgasm at least once in their life. But your partner isn't going to know because you're just laying there flopping like you always do, unless you tell them, right? So the whole point of the game is, can both partners help the other one reach a state that you couldn't even reach on psychedelics? And so I always include something in my work on that as one of the biohacks.
This is so the central point of On Our Knees.
That's why I wanted to have you on the show, because you rock.
Central
you
point
get it.
of like Because let's say in the divine feminine, it is the holy everywhere, and the holiness, like it's almost like orgasm is the God chemical, because when you're turning on that oxytocin, the prolactin, and the endorphins, and the serotonin, and you're bathing all of those, the cortisol with all of this beautiful chemistry. That is when you feel your divinity. That's when you feel the holy. That's when you feel the sacred. And then if I am holding that, and then I'm touching you.
Exactly.
Like even
you're gonna pick it up.
Like not even touching you.
I can feel that.
I can feel that energy so much.
my
Because
body processes energy pretty fast.
Of just the fact that you're conscious of that. Like that's what I think that thing in the Sistine Chapel is.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the giving of life, is when we give pleasure to one another. Yeah. We connect in pleasure with one another. It is, and it's, and I have a question for you about this. Like my training in extended massive orgasm, which I got at Lafayette Morehouse, how I learned was when my teachers would stroke my pussy and my clitoris, my job was to relax and relax, and then just relax more. Because the more I could receive and just not tense, because most of us as women, we learn about orgasm through a male body, and male bodies have a venous plexus at the base of their penis, a web of veins that kind of tightens, and the blood engorges into the guy's cock, and then the thrusting has him, ejaculate. And so we think, we have to do that too. But actually female orgasm expands and extends the most, the more the body can relax. And I'm wondering if, let's say, and to me, that relaxation is when the divine pours through me. It's like that pure relaxation. Okay. And I wondered what your experience was like. How do you train your body to hold the sacred as you are connecting sensually with
as a man, you're saying?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of closing my eyes because I'm visualizing. So in order for you to relax, did they teach the guys to do anything to make you relax?
Yeah.
What did they teach the guys to do?
They would, they kind of trained both of us at the same time.
Okay. And
so the guy would he would like give me cues. He would say, okay, just, if he would see me tensing my butt, he would say, just let it go.
Okay. So it's very verbal.
Yeah.
So when I teach this, here's how it works. So you already said that your pussy is a truth-seeking organ, right? I'm not going to talk you into relaxing. Since when does saying just relax ever work on a woman?
Well, when I think it works when you're in training, because you let your teachers teach you.
But you're right. How many teachers in the intimacy world, especially men, but some women, have some unresolved narcissistic issues? You really don't want to relax about them until you get out of the cult, right? Am I did I hit a nerve there?
No, it's so funny, because I do think gurus are the craziest people on earth.
Yeah, so some of them
show
the best
me a guru and I'll show you a nutcase.
Yeah, totally. That's why I'm not a guru here. I'll just show what I know. But all right, so here's what the guy has to do. There's a certain thing you can do in your energy field. I've been thinking about doing like a men's only class, like how to hold space, but I also don't want to be a guru. So there's a thing you do where you create a bubble of safety around a woman. And in fact, I'll do that to you right now.
Okay.
Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an intentional manipulation of my energy field. I'm holding you in it right now. Okay. That's step one. Now I'm going to do the second one. And just sense with your heart, sense what I'm doing.
Okay.
There we go. Feel a difference? Here, you got it. What did you experience? There you go.
Just like so tender.
Yeah. So what I did in the first step is I put you in a safe bubble, in a safe container, so that your body could relax.
Yeah.
But then your heart still doesn't know if I'm an asshole or not.
Right.
So then I opened the other layer of my heart so you could look inside my heart, and your heart could figure out whether I was a safe human being.
Right.
Like I showed you basically my credentials, right? And then your heart's like, oh, wow, he's real. And what happens then is now I've basically opened my heart. Your heart actually extends into mine.
Yeah.
Right? And that sets up a circuit. So the energy comes in, and then if we were lovers, then the energy would go down for me to physically penetrate where you're opening up for me. And it sets up a circuit there. But you can hug people as a guy who knows how to do this. And you're like, well, okay, anytime you hug a woman or a man for that matter, you can wrap your energy around them if you know how. And you open up the thing that says, here's who I am. And the first party I came to in Austin, I hugged someone I didn't know. She was probably around 28 or something, a friend of a friend kind of thing. Like, hi, nice to meet you. And she says, stop, what did you just do? And I'm like, my hands are up here. Like, I have very good boundaries here. Ask anyone. And she goes, no, that hug was different. What was that? And I said, well, I can teach you if you want. I said, but it'll be a little embarrassing. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm not hitting on you. You're way too young for me. I'm like, but I have to sit on the couch. You're going to straddle me. This is a yab yum position. Is what we would call that in Tantra. So fully clothed. But she's just sitting so her heart would be up against mine so she could feel what I was doing. So then I took her through those steps. And she said, oh my God, like that's amazing. And like, this is great. And she said, so you're telling me I have a heart dick? I said, well, pretty much. So we didn't run into each other. And 6 months later, she came out. I'm not going to say her name because I don't know if she'd want me to. And she said, I spent the last 9 years in a really masculine profession. And I came to Austin because I wanted to tap into my feminine. And as she's saying this, she has like lace and braids and is like super inner feminine. And she's like, that was really helpful. Like I needed to feel that. Yeah. And what I find is there are a great number of women who have never felt safe. Ever. Yeah. Because no one just knows how to do that basic thing. And this is what it's guy's job is to do that. It doesn't matter if it's your mom. It doesn't matter if it's someone where there's zero intimacy interest at all. It's just how the masculine is supposed to show up. It's you have the field and you show people who you really are. And it's not words, it's not actions, it's not acting, it's just presence. And when you learn how to do it, I think you just make the world a better place because you're giving women permission to expand and express who they are. Yeah. Right. And that's the role of the masculine. Like we have to go first in that. And there's too many guys who have lost that skill. I didn't used to have it, but I learned it.
And it's so important and probably so meaningful to your daughter that you have that because it means that every single face of her feminine has home with you. Oh, yeah. And, you know, one of the things On Our Knees is I talk about 10 different goddesses.
I love that.
Which are, you know, Aphrodite is the goddess of beauty, but then we have Kali, who is rage and destruction. Your daughter holds her inside. There's Inanna, who goes deep into the unconscious and dies and comes back and is reborn in her new state because of her own journey. So there's that death and resurrection. We have Demeter and Persephone, the mother-daughter. And Demeter is brought back to life by encountering Balbo, who reawakens her to her sexuality. So it's like all of these goddesses live inside every single woman. And with a man who loves all faces of the feminine, they can erupt and exist. And she knows that you're going to be doing nothing but loving her and supporting her in her full range of her feminine expression.
That is, it's exactly the case. And there's also the flip side of that, which is you can have a full range of feminine expression. You also have to have, you know, respect for the relationship and to have a certain level of peace where there can be an eruption, but there's still integrity. Yeah. Right.
I feel like the guy, he gets to be kind of the rock and we get to be the wave that crashes against the rock. Yeah. And that is so Like that polarity is so hot for a woman to know that her guy can handle no matter what, obviously we don't want women, with a one-trick pony just expressing rage. But when that occurs, that he can handle that, it allows her to swivel and open other more tender sides of herself.
Yeah, rage is good, entitlement or envy or, playing games and things like that. We'll call it repressed rage. Doesn't work very well. So if the guy brings it, you have to bring it out so you can stop acting that way all the time in little nagging ways, which will happen. So it can be very, very clean. And I'm grateful. I spent a lot of the last couple of years doing entrepreneurial relationship coaching as part of We Deepen with my former girlfriend. And we had just so many amazing conversations with top people. And she still runs We Deepen. I still participate in it. And it's been really powerful to see couples who learn how to just interact in a clean way where, it's fine. Have your reactions, but be clean about it.
And I think that also in my book, I talk a lot about the practice of orgasm.
Yes.
And how essential and important that is, and how, let's say, a regular orgasmic practice is, I think it's important for singles, and it's so important in a partnership.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like fuel that allows you to live that sacred that you opened up with me just a moment ago. Yeah. To like stay in that kind of depth of connection while expanding each other sensually. Because we need to use that little medicine cabinet of all of those beautiful hormones that lives inside.
You do. So we're talking about orgasm, and that's one of the things I love that you focus on in the book, because I think it is a portal to the divine. So for men, the Daoists would say it's age in years minus 7 divided by 4. Like ejaculate that number of days or less often. So you might get a number of 7 or 8. That means ejaculate once every 7 or 8 days. But if you're having sex every day and you're not ejaculating, by the 8th day, you're going to have a really good orgasm. And they taught, and this is very ancient writing, and if you want to live a long time, keep your orgasms to under an hour as a man. I'm like, that is the biggest bunch of crap. I didn't know what they were talking about. And then over the course of a year of practicing all this, that started happening to me. And I don't know that I ever went to an hour, but a half-hour long orgasm as a guy, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like my abs hurt. And it's like, no, you just keep going. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try and breathe here. And it gets to this point where it's like, I just want this to be, but you just orgasm and orgasm and orgasm and orgasm. And no, you're not ejaculating the whole time. You turn inside out, but the abs are tensing and the breaths and the waves of sensation and all that. That can and will happen for guys if you are fully embodied.
And for women as well.
Oh,
I think
certainly.
Women are wildly gifted in the area of sensuality.
Yeah.
It's so magnificent. But in our world, like you can get to the upper limits of pain, right? A certain amount of pressure, you'll die. A certain volume of noise, you'll explode. But there is no upper limit of pleasure. Like those explorations haven't been done.
I think they might have. I got the equation.
You did? You got to the upper limit of it?
Well, I don't know if it's an upper limit, but I've scoured all the Daoist stuff I could find. They never wrote an equation for women. Because this was also a male-centric practice even way back in the day, although there are like female branches of Taoism that are very beautiful and secret. Some of our mutual friends have studied them in places that most people will never know about. But so for women, since they don't get diminished by these orgasms, so for the guy, there's the equation. So for women, it's the number of orgasms until you feel absolutely convinced you're going to die plus 2. That's the right number. Seem like a good equation?
I don't know. When I did my training, at Lafayette Morehouse, they have a program called the certification program. And in order to graduate the certification program, well, the final piece is you do a 1-hour demonstration of a 1-hour orgasm.
Wow. Okay.
And preceding that, you have to have a 3-hour orgasm.
On the same day.
No, could be
Okay.
the few days before, but you have to demonstrate that you can, with the hands of a certified partner, a trained partner, you are able to maintain an orgasmic state for 3 hours. So
Wow.
that's
like doing psychedelics.
That's
Yeah.
the capacity
Yeah.
that I've ever experienced.
Amazing.
But theoretically, you probably could go on. But
you're right.
you'd get hungry or you'd want to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom. I don't know. You'd have things to do. You have to go pick up the kids. I don't know. But
You don't want to get stuck there forever. But what I found, the reason I bring it up that way, has to do with the title of your book. It's On Our Knees, and it's about surrender. So there comes a point where a woman will say, I'm spent, I can't do it. And when her partner is holding the right energy for her, it's like, oh, it's not up to you. And that's when the surrender comes. And then there's another level of deepening. You get it? And it's just like, I can't.
Yeah.
And then that's when the next wave, those are the really deep, divine, like sacred states that you enter when you had to fully let go to do it.
Yeah.
So to get there, as far as I know, the guy has to create the right field for her system to relax. And then it takes a sequence of smaller orgasms from different parts to get there. And when you finally get there, it's, you become one with the universe.
Yeah.
And that's really
one
what
with
it's
each
about.
other.
Yeah, of course.
And then when a woman has had that level of pleasure and just attention from her man,
Yeah.
the first thing she wants to do is shift and place her surrendered erotic attention on him, which is, I think, just one of the most pleasurable things as a woman, to be able to be in such deep reverential service to her guy.
Can we shift the level from attention to devotion?
I love
it's
that.
a very different energetic.
Yeah.
Attention's outward focused,
Yeah.
and it's got a selfishness and like, oh, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Versus devotion, which is like, what's in it for you?
That's what I live for.
So
that word.
Right.
That
so
is the one.
When a man knows how to provide devotional care for his woman, it opens up a whole entire different universe of energetics. And that's where like the really deep states you're talking about come from.
And you know what's so interesting, right? That devotion, right, that takes a woman to her knees with her lover in just that pure giving, that pure devotion. That is the same energetic that runs through her body when she is on her knees at the graveside, knowing she will never see that person again. It is the same on her knees reverence when she's in awe at what Mother Nature has created that is beyond any comprehension of her humanhood. It is when she is on her knees lost. It is that erotic current of surrender in relationship to one's life and the things that happen that are in our control and the things that are absolutely out of our control, but learning to trust that goddess energetic flow as a pathway to her, I guess it's her unfolding journey, or his.
Yeah.
And it is such a beautiful way to live, where the holy is everywhere, in everything.
You said it perfectly. And there's something profoundly life-changing and healing about that level of devotional attention, or just a level of devotion. Just to experience that in real safety once.
Yeah.
I've seen it shift people's energy where, oh, now I can be in a relationship.
That's right.
It's like sometimes you have to have it modeled so you can feel it for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's one of the deepest and most powerful and fastest forms of healing, but it requires people with a certain degree of understanding and skills. And you're teaching people, Gena, like a lot of very almost secret and sacred knowledge that the world really needs right now.
Yeah.
So thank you for On Our Knees book. And just for your work in the world.
Thank you.
We really could benefit from a lot more women who are healed and embodied and not afraid of their pleasure or their power. So thank you for making that happen.
Thank you, my love. Thanks for everything that you do and for giving me this chance to come talk to you today. I've loved every second of it.
Thank you. Me
You are
too.
a hoot.
Oh, and this is your first interview
This is my
On Our
first
Knees.
interview.
So, yeah, it's an honor.
Oh my gosh. This is great. Thank you.
See you next time on the Human Upgrade Podcast.